This is the Level Up Podcast. I'm Taylor Petrinovich.
And I'm Kelly Gilster of 618 Studios.
And we are on a mission to help wedding filmmakers and photographers level up their businesses so you can make more and work less.
We want to help you confidently take your business from mainstream to luxury, and it all starts right here. Well, hello, friends, and thank you so much for joining us for another conversation here on the Level Up Podcast. I am here with my girl, Taylor. Taylor, how are you? And Happy New Year. We can still say that, right?
Yeah, I think that Happy New Year is fair game all of January. I'm doing great. Actually, this week is my birthday, so I'm going to be 34, which, mid-30s. I don't know how to feel about it.
Oh my goodness. Welcome to the club. I'm going to be turning 37 in a few months, but that's so exciting. Taylor has the easiest birthday to remember, you guys. It's 123. So January 23rd, 123. So easy peasy. What are you going to do for your birthday?
Well, last Saturday we went out with a few friends. We went to Topgolf, honestly, just because we had like over $200 worth of gift cards there. We were like, if we don't use these, we never will. And then a different set of friends is having us over for dinner on Saturday. And I might get a massage on my actual birthday. I don't know. I'm not a big make a huge deal out of it. We just like use it as an excuse to hang out with some of our favorite people. So
Yeah, that's great.
yeah.
Well, it's really exciting. I just got back from a ski trip in Utah. We went on visited family and took the kids skiing for the very first time. So, as you guys know, I have like a 1.5-year-old, and then I have a almost 4-year-old, and then an almost 7-year-old. And we've never taken them skiing before. But growing up, we were a ski family. We did Mammoth in California a lot, and I always wanted our kids to kind of get used to that. And so we threw them into ski school on last Saturday. They did great. And then we did a couple more runs with them up on some like the bigger lifts. And I just love new experiences with my kids. I don't know about you, Taylor. I feel like you guys do so many fun things as a family too. And also, I have to call you out because okay, listeners, you know that we love TikTok. Taylor reposted this thing about, I don't know if you guys have been seeing the trend of like camping. Do I want to go camping? Truly never. And it was like a girl in like first class. I'm like, Taylor, you go camping with your family all the time.
It's against my will.
I feel like you're such a good sport about it. So I was like, Taylor reposted this?
I don't love camping. It's okay. The problem is my husband insists on tent camping, and then there's always like one of the air mattresses will deflate, and then everyone jumps ship from that one onto anyway. So it's just like I already don't sleep well in the most perfect circumstances, and then have 4 other humans like clamoring on to a failing air mattress is like no fun. So I think it's honestly like a lot of it's a lack of sleep that makes it not fun for me.
Yeah.
But growing up, I had like the sweetest camping setup. We had a permanent campsite at like, I don't know, a place 2 hours away from where I grew up. And we had a trailer, and my dad built a deck around it, and we had a grill. And our next door neighbors, like in real life, like at our actual home, they had a camping spot right next door, and they had a golf cart. And so like little 10-year-old me and my best friend would like putt around in the golf cart around this campsite. So that was like my experience growing up. So maybe the way we do it just kind of falls flat.
Does James listen to the podcast?
No, I don't allow him to listen to the podcast.
That's hilarious. He'd probably be like, what? Called out. All right. Anyways, new experiences. I just had to bring up that TikTok thing because I'm like, wait a second. You're always camping with the fam.
We
So
actually haven't gone in 2 years, to be fair. But yeah, James likes it, and the kids like it.
I would love it. But Paul is literally that real, truly never, like never wants to go camping ever. He wants to be in like a nice resort and have all the accommodations and fun things. But anyways, okay, Taylor, we kind of wanted to bring some fun to the podcast this week, and we wanted to bring in some fun things. Not so much hot takes, but like maybe some things on our experiences of unhinged client requests that maybe we've received in our combined almost 25 years in the wedding industry. maybe some other little things that we wanted to talk about, just like the state of the industry or funny things that we've experienced, because I think that it's so fun as listeners to listen in on things and get to hear the stories of others. When I was on a fam trip, we were doing like a round table of this same topic, and we were just all dying over some of these requests. Like one of my planner friends, like basically, long story short, like, shared a bed with Dr. Phil because he was having, like, a heat stroke, and just, like, so many funny things. We go through so much as wedding professionals, and we just wanted to have, like, an episode where we can laugh about it.
Yeah. Kelly and I, we do a lot of planning on this podcast, and we recognized in 2026 one of the things that we want to do is, although we love bringing education to the podcast, we love it so much, but we also want to like almost have like an edutainment spin to it. Like sometimes we're really in the mood for just like for you guys to be taking notes and implementing, but sometimes we just want to share things that humanize like the industry and that you guys can relate to. So that's what this episode's going to be about. So hopefully that resonates. Let us know on Instagram through the DMs if you guys liked this one, and we can do more just like it.
Okay, Taylor, what's the most unhinged client request that you've ever gotten in your career?
So this is actually one where I use it as kind of like words of caution to people who offer unlimited wedding day coverage because I had a wedding in San Francisco, which is 2 hours away from me, and they asked me to show up at 9 a.m. on the wedding day, and my coverage didn't end until 10 p.m. So I was leaving my house at 6 o'clock in the morning to make sure nothing bad happened, make sure I had time to valet my car. And yeah, so I worked from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m., a 13-hour wedding day because I sold an unlimited wedding coverage collection, which, spoiler alert, I don't do anymore.
Okay, I remember that same thing happened to me, but I have you beat. It was 17 hours of wedding day coverage. It started with a 5 a.m. Chinese tea ceremony, and then it rolled into like getting ready for their Western ceremony, filming that, doing that, moving on to the reception. And the reception went until like they wanted us to stay till like the guests were out the door, like everything was done. It was 17 hours, and I still remember the feeling of, like, on hour 14, like, reaching down to go grab something out of my backpack, and, like, my lower back just, like, spasmed, and I was like, "How am I gonna do this for 3 more hours?" I had to be, like, really careful about, like, bending over to pick stuff up because my back was consistently like, "Nope, you're done, you're done." But, yeah, no
Yeah.
more unlimited coverage also, like, never again, but I did do that my first 3 years of business because I just didn't know better.
You didn't know better, and it sounds so great, and, like, honestly, I can see how it's a really great selling feature, like, when you're really hungry to book clients, and you can be like, "You have me for an unlimited amount of time," like, it's an amazing offer, right? So, I'm sure it gets a lot of clients in the door, but then when it comes time to deliver it, especially on a client who will take full advantage of the unlimited part of the unlimited coverage, it can really backfire, especially when now at this point, like, if they wanna add on those hours, that's thousands of dollars on missed revenue, from additional coverage add-ons as the date approaches or even on the wedding day. So yeah, definitely unlimited coverage is one of those things where it's like word to the wise, maybe think twice before offering it. Um, okay, Kelly, what is something that a potential client or client has said that instantly raised a red flag?
The one that always kinda will get me a little bit is when they, like, point us to other filmmakers on how they want their film to be, which I got it so much more in the earlier years of my business because I wasn't so clear in, like, our messaging, and our portfolio wasn't as dialed in to, like, show what exactly we produced. So I actually don't blame the client for, like, feeling like they needed to steer the ship because we weren't steering the ship either. So, in the beginning years, it was a lot of, like, I really like your work, but like, here's all these YouTube videos of what I want you to produce for me. And sometimes I said yes because I was hungry for work, but other times I would be very gentle in saying, like, I think they would serve as like a really good fit for you, or finding someone whose portfolio aligns seamlessly with what you feel confident in like them creating for you. I also will say, like, when they say something like, "How many rounds of revisions do we get with the project?" Or like, "Okay, so once you edit it down, like, you'll send it to us, and then, like, we can tell you exactly, like, what we want changed." That's where I can kinda tell that they're going into it with this preconceived idea that there's going to be things wrong with the film, and that's kind of more of a red flag for me. There's so many other things that I thought was a red flag in the early years of my career, like contract negotiations, like, I thought that was, like, the ultimate red flag when, like, it's really not when it comes down to it, and I do contract negotiations all the time, which I'm sure people listening here are like, "What? She does what?" But yeah, it's not as big of a deal as I made it up to be in my head in my earlier years of business. What about you, Taylor?
One time I had a client where during the consultation call, the groom asked, "What happens if something happens to you, like you get in a car accident and die on the way to the wedding?" And I think in the moment I was so taken aback because my gut instinct was, well, I hope that you care more about my life than you do about your $1,200 wedding videography collection. But and I think I kind of like shook it off as like, well, my contract states here's what would happen, la la la. Like I dressed it in a very like matter of fact way, and I went through the contract and what it would say. But actually, what that question did was prepare me in case I get that question again. And I actually weave this into some of my consultations too. So now I say, I always bring along a second and third shooter who are fully prepared to carry out the wedding day should something happen to me. So I kind of weave that into the consultation if I kind of can get the vibe that there's a little bit of uneasiness. I'm not a husband and wife team, right? It's just myself. So I kind of spin it and like have that be actually a value add that somebody else is driving their own vehicle. They have their own set of gear and they're like their own fully operational unit outside of myself. But I just remember feeling like low key offended when I got asked that. And I
That's
booked
funny,
it
and, like,
and I shot their wedding.
and you didn't die on the way.
Luckily.
Oh my gosh. It's just such like a blunt way to ask the question. There was so much of a softer way to say, "In the case that you're unable if you get into a car accident and you were unable to be at the wedding, get in a car accident and die." That's a lot.
Yeah, it was fun.
I'm gonna bring in one actually, Taylor, that we
Yeah.
received recently on an Ask Me Anything. So, do you feel like it's appropriate to tell your second shooters how to dress?
100% absolutely, yes. They are a representation of your brand on the wedding day. They're an extension of not only you, but if you're a videographer, then the photo team. If you're a photographer, also an extension of the videography free team because they see us as one unit of media. And then we're reflections upon the planner. So it's truly like a team thing. If one of us looks bad, we all look bad. And so in order to uphold that and to show up best for our clients, I do think that having some boundaries and some guidelines on what your second shooter is wearing is absolutely a smart move on your part.
Yeah, and then a follow-up that we got that I didn't really address is, would you ever consider, like, a stipend for your second shooters to, like, help them purchase an appropriate outfit to come and assist on your wedding?
I actually have had a few second shooters come on who have said, "I don't have a suit." And I've offered in the body of the email, well, if you have time, like I'd be willing to cover up to $200 worth of your suit purchase. I've never actually done that. We've found workarounds with that, but it is something that I would consider doing absolutely, especially on a really high caliber event. I consider that cost of doing business, honestly, to make sure my team looks great.
I love that. That's so good. I think a lot of people will find that really helpful because I think we just don't know what we can ask of others. And I think it's just really important to understand that when we are freelancing someone to come and work for us, they aren't just coming to just, like, help you. They're really coming to embody your entire brand throughout the course of that wedding day or that wedding weekend, and it's imperative that they are representing the brand in a way that you want your business represented. You don't know if potential clients are in that bridal party, you don't know if potential clients are sitting there in those guest chairs at that ceremony, like, and like you said, Taylor, that planner who is probably actively vetting you through little bits and pieces throughout the wedding day. And who you bring on as your second can absolutely make or break if they decide, because they don't know if that's someone that you work with all the time and that's like your dedicated second, or if that's just a one off freelancer that can help you for that specific weekend. But it's not just you, it's your entire team. And so I think it's actually a really overlooked opportunity to be able to instill professionalism through and through.
Yeah, I mean, we can go in depth about how we guide our second shooters and what we expect from them and how we are relaying that information as well. We talk heavily about that in our mastermind program. But for the sake of this podcast episode, we'll leave it at that with a yes, you have every right to help guide your second shooter into appropriate attire and other decisions that will reflect nicely on your brand. Okay, Kelly, I'm excited for this one. Prepare yourself. Kelly, what is something in the wedding industry that you pretend doesn't bother you, but it actually does?
Oh my gosh, I'm going to come clean about this one, you guys. Photographers who have decided to add Super 8 as one of their offerings. And actually, Taylor and I didn't talk about this for a long time. And then another filmmaker who we follow brought it up in kind of a hot take. And you sent it to me, and you're like, absolutely, I feel this exact same way. And I'm like, wait, I feel this exact same way too. It just, it's a different medium, you guys. And as you guys know, here at Level Up Co., we believe that if you're really aiming for that premium or luxury market, clients aren't looking for a jack of all trades. And I just kind of feel like it would be the same thing as like Taylor and I as filmmakers if they were like, "Hey, our photographer doesn't offer or we're not gonna have a photographer. Can you just, like, bring a camera, like a film camera, and just, like, shoot some stuff of us?" And we're like, "Sure, yeah, we'll just bring, like, a film camera and shoot rolls of film for you." It crosses mediums, and I feel like I know that photographers might be listening to this who maybe also offer Super 8, and they might be like, "Well, wait, that doesn't feel fair." And it's like, well, think about it in the opposite way. How would you feel if a filmmaker kind of maybe cut out your line of business in a way because they crossed the line into a different medium?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's exactly that. It's like if I brought my Contact 645 to a wedding and I shot film and delivered my ceremony film, my toast film, my highlight film, and then a pixie set gallery of film images, and then you delivered your digital images. That's really what it is. And now I do think that there may be some nuance and wiggle room when a filmmaker is not part of the story, I guess, or never was going to be. But I do feel like the filmmaker should have first right of refusal to offer Super 8 to their clients. Like, Kelly, you offer Super 8 to your clients. I know that's something that a lot of filmmakers are starting to do. So, I mean, it's not called a hot take for nothing, guys. It's supposed to be a little bit spicy. So, just know it's all done in good fun, but that is kind of our opinion and our perspective on it. Hey, friends, really quickly, I'm going to interrupt this podcast episode because I just want to say we are so grateful to have you as listeners. Heading into our 2026 wedding season and into 2027 next year, we just know that so much is on the horizon for you. Because you're listening to this podcast, that means you are a really ambitious photographer or filmmaker, or maybe a content creator in the wedding industry who has sights set on the next level of business. The Luxury Mastermind program, which is our signature program here at the Level Up Co., is going to help you do just that. We have helped hundreds of wedding filmmakers and photographers elevate their businesses into that next level. A great example of this is Skylar Ball, who is a wedding filmmaker based in Tennessee, who was charging $3,500 per wedding when he joined our program. And now, 18 months later, he's consistently booking at $12,000. We've had other students book their first five-figure wedding during our program, and we've had many, many students be able to double and triple their prices, which sounds crazy, but it's actually true, and we are so proud of them. If you are ready to see growth like that, if you're ready to get to that next level in business, book out your calendar year with weddings at a price point that you feel so proud of, and with weddings that are artistically fulfilling for you and that are just so fun to capture, We would love to welcome you inside our next round of the Luxury Mastermind. We are currently pre enrolling seats before we officially launch, and students who pre enroll get a bonus one on one coaching call with Kelly or myself, which is something we absolutely do for our students as a little thank you for signing up early. You can go to thelevelupco.com/mastermind to learn more about the program, see what's inside, and to pre enroll. That should be linked in the description box down below if you're watching on YouTube, or linked in the description if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Kelly and I are so excited for our next cohort of the Luxury Mastermind, and we hope to see you in there so that we can guide you to that next level of business and beyond.
Yeah. I think that everyone needs to kind of stay in their own lane on what they offer. And so I just think it's a little interesting when photographers decide they're going to like tag along with a Super 8 and like film footage for the client. So I just did a consultation a couple weeks ago, not too long ago. The client was interested in Super 8. I let them know, like, she's like, is this like a dedicated person that shoots Super 8? And I'm like, no, I like have it on my person like throughout the day. And I'm like, finding little vignettes and moments to incorporate some Super 8 footage. And the bride in the consultation was like, actually, like, would it be okay, like, if I hired somebody to do Super 8 to, like, run that for me throughout the day, like a separate person? And I'm like, yeah, of course. And she's like, okay, so should I go ahead and, like, arrange that and, like, bring in another company? And I'm like, no, no, no. Like, we can totally arrange, for that. But also, like, we're filmmakers bringing in a separate body to build onto our team onto that. It's separate than, like, a photographer who's a dedicated photographer who then is, like, bringing along someone to shoot Super 8, then you kinda start to fall into that photo video hybrid category, which Taylor and I don't recommend always.
Yeah, for sure, especially as you're scaling. Like you hit a ceiling essentially is what what kind of happens.
Yeah.
Okay, I have
I have a
another one.
question.
Oh, go ahead, go
I have
ahead.
one quick question. Why do you think, Taylor, that photographers feel the need to hop into this realm of, like, offering Super 8?
I think they're seeing it as a way to add an add-on that is clearly differentiated from the photos that they are taking. Because the way a lot of people approach hybrid shooting between digital and film, most people are not upcharging for film photography. It's just another medium. The same way a lot of people just weave in using drone. It's just another tool in your tool belt. So I think they're seeing it as a way to upsell the client. So it does make sense to me, like from that rationale. But I think I think in a way it's similar to videographers maybe offering content creation or
Yeah,
photographers offering content creation. Like now content creators are their own vendor category. And
yeah,
so maybe all the toes are being stepped on. So um I think it's kind of similar, honestly. I don't know a realistic way videographers could offer something that crosses the barrier to the photo world, but it kind of is a trickle down effect where videographers offering content creation, content creators may see as being stepping on toes that way. But I think it's a diversification play. But that's why, we really love upselling our clients. Like, we think it's a great way to add very real value that the clients want and they
yeah,
need, but there's other ways that you can do it while maintaining the integrity of your brand and making sure everyone's happy. And a lot of that is by offering like ancillary event coverage, right? So it's like the coverage hours, it could be more deliverables related to your specific medium. So album sales, prints, things like that. So I don't know, just a
yeah.
couple other ideas to kind of maximize each client. Okay, I have another one.
I'm ready. What is it? Hit me with it.
Okay, okay, okay. I'm trying not to look down, you guys, because I hate I hate it when I'm watching people read, but that's how it goes. Okay. What's a piece of advice everyone gives in the wedding industry that you actually disagree with?
Okay, I actually have a few. I think I have 3 for this. One, that destination work, like, means that you made it. So, like, as even internationally, like, I think that here in the United States, we have such a great, like, domestic opportunity to film beautiful weddings like, domestically, and I think sometimes, like, the international thing can really be enticing. I just don't think that it's always as profitable as people think. And then my next thought is that, like, automation is, like, the way to do things. Taylor and I are huge on quick replies to the clients, clear, concise, and kind communication, but too many people rely too much on, like, sending out their automated emails from initial inquiry to the booking process to sending automatic payment reminders. Like, it's just way too automated. And I think that we live in such um, an industry built on hospitality and high touch. And I think that the sooner that we can adopt the high touch mindset, the sooner that our own businesses will get noticed and elevated automatically, no pun intended, but kind of, into higher levels of the market that we actually didn't think that we ever saw ourselves in. And so I think international, like, destination events are sometimes glamorized in the way that I don't think they really should be. Next is automation is, like, kind of a silent killer of your business and brand. And then the third, I would say too, is people putting too much of their emphasis just on Instagram and not the next level of actually having, like, a website and a well-established brand. I think now with so many younger photographers and filmmakers, they're seeing themselves as, like, the website is an afterthought. It's like a nice to have or whatever it might be, and we even have students that come into our mastermind that don't even have a website, or it's like an extension of their Pixie set, or it's an extension of their Honeybook portal or something like that, and it's actually such a lie that people, like, come up with. I don't know if they've been told that or if they just come up with their own preconceived ideas, but we have to have a website. Like, it's an end all be all for sure.
It's non-negotiable, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say for me, like, a lot of advice that I'm seeing, especially in the mainstream market, I mean, as people who are listening to this, they're probably familiar that we do a lot of, like, unteaching or going against the grain of what people in the mainstream market may be teaching, and so you're gonna be hearing a lot of conflicting advice between us and then mainstream educators, but a lot of people put too much emphasis on things like the gear, on really, really, like, honestly, it's like trying to be a special unicorn of an artist, and I love the artistry, it's amazing, but I will say that a lot of clients are actually looking for consistency. They want to know for sure what the product that they're getting at the end of the day looks like, and if you're switching it up too much, changing the way you're approaching a wedding day, changing the way you're editing, changing the way you're shooting, changing your gear too often, it actually deteriorates a little bit of trust because it lacks consistency over time. And so sticking to a specific way of doing things and then making micro adjustments along the way is the best way to kind of shift. But I do feel like people don't pay enough attention to the business part and they pay too much attention to trying to be an out of the box kind of artist.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I definitely think so too.
So, as a wedding videographer, what is one of your biggest pet peeves on a wedding day?
Okay. One is this is such a simple thing. Photographers, I love you all so, so much. I think one of the biggest things is photographers, they don't always have to work with a videographer, right? Maybe 50% of the time, 60% of the time, maybe even less. But a very simple, like, looking behind you here and there, just a quick little look behind, like, am I blocking anybody? Especially during things like the first dance or like toasts. Like, I think sometimes I will get, like, a photographer that comes and, like, I have, like, a longer lens on farther away shooting the toast, and then they kind of, like, get up there to grab a shot. No big deal, I could do a quick cut. But then when they just, like, stand there, and then it's, like, awkward, and then I'm like, "Oh, shoot." Like, when it would be a very simple, like, "Oh, let me just, like, look behind me to see, like, if I happen to be blocking anybody, and I can take, like, a step to my left or the right or, like, move back a little bit." Same thing too with, like, the ceremony. Um like a very simple, like, "Am I okay here?" Like, mouthing, like, down the aisle, like, "Am I okay here?" Depending on, like, if I'm on a 135 down the aisle or something like that, when they kind of decide, like, where my focal length is when they're stepping into my frame, basically. So, yeah, when a photographer I don't always know if it's intentional. Maybe you photographers that are listening can tell me. Sometimes I don't know if it's just, like, a subtle, like, "Screw you," for like, in a certain way. I don't know. I'm like, "Is this intentional or is this really just, like, being maybe oblivious and in the moment and, like, locked in to that particular moment?" Tell me, because sometimes I'm not sure. Taylor, what do you think?
It's like a power move.
I don't know, is it a power move? It could be. If so, I mean, I give photographers like, you guys hold the power over us, I feel like, on a wedding day. So, like, take the power if you want the power. But, like, I never know because I'm always having, like, a good time with the photographer, but then sometimes maybe they're, like, consistently kind of, like, stepping in front. And sometimes I wanna get, like, wider than I'd like to, but then maybe the second shooter is, like, really fixated on, like, being almost on the dance floor with the couple. And I'm like, "Oh, if you would just, like, take a step back," or I don't know. I guess it would also be just, like, team management on all sides of things, from the planning side to the photo side, the florist side. Like, I don't know about you, Taylor, but, like okay, wait, I have another one. I'm getting kinda spicy now. When the florist has on the timeline so a lot of the timelines that we're receiving now, Taylor, you probably get the same. It will say when the photo or sorry, it'll say when the ceremony is photo ready, or it'll say when the reception is aimed to be photo ready. So, like, floral knows, like, when their time is to get in there. Of course, there's probably gonna be hiccups that they run into along the way and things like that. Now, my thing is when I'm arriving at the ceremony site, because I know at 3:15 it's gonna be photo ready to shoot, if the florist is in there and gets it done in that time, that's awesome. When they're 15 minutes late and now we're looking at 3:30 and I have to go and run and grab first look in 10 minutes, but this is my time to shoot the ceremony space, and then there's 6 people, florists walking around with their cell phones trying to get content on all of their cell phone. Taylor, if you're watching on YouTube, is like, "Oh my gosh, yes." Like, I
I'm
think that
having,
you've
like, a
lost that
visceral reaction
a
right now
visceral re
because
a
I feel
visceral
it so
reaction.
hard.
It is so hard because one, I'm like, okay, team management here. Do all 6 of you guys need this content on your individual phones? Like, can't just one person maybe grab it and then airdrop it to all of you guys? And then also, like, I almost feel like if you've ran late, then you've probably missed your opportunity to be able to get that content for yourself, and then maybe you just have to rely on the professional photo and video stuff, or just step back with us and be shoulder to shoulder with us shooting it so we can get our stuff. Like, you see that we're shooting wides, don't be right up there in the front getting your tights of, like, the arch or whatever installations up front.
So what mine was going to be was exactly what you're saying, but with makeup artists.
Okay.
Hair and makeup runs late almost every single wedding. Like, it is a rare day when makeup and hair is exactly done on time, right? So we always expect it to be 15 to 20 minutes late. But if, again, to your point, if you're 15 to 20 minutes late as a makeup artist and we're ready to get the bride into the dress or over to go do her little robe PJ on the bed shot with all of her girls, and you're sitting there making her do a million things for your phone content, it makes me so like so frustrated, especially because the client is right there. So you can't even say anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At least in the florist case, like, if the client's not around, you could gently be like, "Hey, guys, like, we only have 5 minutes to shoot this. Would you mind letting us shoot first? And then you guys can get your content after we're finished because we have to keep up with this timeline," which I think is a very reasonable request. You can't say that in front of the client, really. So you're really kind of, like, cornered in that. So, it's just everyone's, like, obsessed with their own phone content is, I think,
Yes.
is what it comes down to. I have another one. It's so frustrating when it comes time to shoot the reception space and none of the candles are lit, and for some reason, there's only 1 lighter to be shared amongst a floral team of 10, and there's 30 tables worth of candles to be lit. Nothing sets the timeline back like that, and I am considering in the 2026 season actually bringing, like, a floral lighter and having that in my little fanny pack on a wedding day so that I can at least, like, if I wanna get my mediums or my tights, I can at least, like, light my own candles and then move on. So that is, like,
Yeah.
a huge hindrance. I feel like especially towards the end of the day, there's less wiggle room when it comes to the timeline, than there is maybe at the beginning of the day, so it's, like, go time there, and, when you're not prepared for your job, it just kinda bugs me a little bit.
Yeah. But, like, circling back to the content thing, I think that everyone, yes, is obsessed with having their own personal content, like, here on their own phone, like, they want the control of it, which is totally fine. I think that it should be now, like, kind of a rule that, like, looking at when the order of events is coming up next, like when that bridal makeup is supposed to be complete or when that ceremony site is supposed to be complete and photo ready, like I feel like that should almost be like something that you aim to be done 10 minutes early so that you're factoring in like, cool, now this is my 5 to 10 minutes of my own content time before the photo and video needs to get in there and shoot their own stuff. And then it kind of keeps you motivated to like get done on time because if I go past that window, then I know that my time for like my own content might be hindered and I can't be hindering the photo and video. Who knows that now it's time to pass the baton on to them, and I dropped the baton, oops, okay, well, maybe I have to wait now until photo video's already captured it rather than, like, feeling like, "Oh, well, I'm done. I have right away. Let me go ahead and grab this real quick." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, no, these weddings move quick." Like, there is no, like, "Let me grab this real quick." Like, we just gotta go and shoot, and, like, even as simple as, like I said, getting on, like, a side by side level with us and like understanding like, "Okay, we're gonna start wide, we're gonna move in for our mids, we're gonna go in for our tights. Just come along for the ride with us." Not like trying to be right up front, like I said earlier.
I don't know. The obsession with the phones on a wedding day, I mean, everyone is trying to get their content, and it's the venue, it's the planner, it's the photographer. I mean, I've seen like the hot shoe mounts of like phones on photographers' cameras where they're like literally shooting content on top of their professional camera. Like the obsession with the content boggles my mind. I mean, like I love walking away from a wedding with like 4 or 5 little clips, but I don't feel like I need it of everything. I I feel like the Instagram and the TikTok honestly didn't ruin the way weddings go, but they absolutely influenced the flow of a wedding day, like, heavily.
I have a question. This question is more for wedding planners. Wedding planners, do you feel like you are told ahead of time which vendors are bringing in their own content, or are you kind of left in the dark? Because we had a wedding last year where there was a musician that brought in their own content creator and their own BTS videographer just for them. And I actually have never had a conversation with the planner about this on if they knew that that was gonna be the case and if it was approved. So that's something I would love to know on, like, how wedding planners are navigating this content obsessed thing that we're in right now on, like, are they getting asked for pre-approval on this, or are people just showing up and they don't have any idea?
I'm really hoping people are asking for approval. Like, it's insane to bring extra bodies to a wedding day. Like, this is not a production set. This is somebody's actual wedding, and someone's real grandma is over there, and someone's real like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like a business conference, it is somebody's day. So
Yeah.
I'm really hoping they're getting approval.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, guys,
Yeah.
that's gonna end. Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
No, that was it. That was it.
Okay, Kelly and I are both trying to end this podcast episode at the same time. That's gonna do it. We are interested in maybe doing more episodes kind of like this throughout 2026. Give us your feedback. Let us know what you thought. If you had any hot takes you agreed with or maybe disagreed with, feel free to chime in on Instagram at the Level Up Co. if you're not already following us. And we will see you guys next week. Thank you for joining us in today's conversation. Please help us reach more filmmakers and photographers like you by taking a screenshot and sharing it to social media. And don't forget to tag us at The Level Up Co.
And join us again next week, same time, same place, as we continue to level up the industry together.